Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Shanghai Major Qualifiers. We have replaced LD with the Llama. How are you doing?
I'm great. I got to just wake up, roll out of bed. Yeah, let's do it.
Pretty awesome. We're going to be switching on over into Europe time now. Blaze, we've got a whole heck of whole lot of teams coming up, groups coming up. What are you seeing here? Anything that really sticks out to you as far as the groups are going, and teams that you think might have a chance to really shoot out in front?
Well, of course, in Group A, we're going to be looking at Navi here, looking really strong since their most recent team reformation. Empire is probably their major competitor in Group A, but I would say, are not feeling as strong after their most recent change-ups. They have had some great games, but consistency is still something they're kind of striving for. Hellraisers has not been as big of a name recently. As well, Mama's Boys is the qualifier team, but still had a really good run through that qualifiers and are formerly known as Four Clovers and Leprechauns. So you guys should know those guys pretty well. But Team Spirit is who we're actually going to be looking at for our first match here, and you have some opinions on them?
I think that they're potentially like my favorite team that I saw at the beginning of the patch. And, Lama was alluding to it earlier when we were talking about it at the very beginning that maybe it was something where the patch just wasn't quite figured out yet, and they were running a really consistently strong deathball strat. And after the fact, maybe that ended up being able to get figured out a little bit. You mentioned that they got knocked out of the most recent tournament they were in the first round by Cookies 2-1. So could be a bit of an issue. I'm really curious, as you guys have seen for the past however long we've been off, it's going to be Navi facing off against them in this game. And I'm really excited for it. I'm curious to see what they're going to bring to the table. Do you have any predictions so far?
I have to imagine these two teams scrim quite a bunch because of the region they're in and also their members. So I wouldn't be surprised if they've practiced deathball against each other or various other strats. And I'm excited because Spirit is also one of the teams early on, right, when the patch dropped. As we said, they were picking up Chen, they were picking up Enchantress, a lot of funky things, and so I'm really excited to see some interesting picks out of them. But I actually think Spirit could definitely take a game here. The odds were really skewed towards Navi, which happens a lot when Navi's in a game.
Yeah.
But I think Spirit can definitely take a game.
Well, I think that we might be getting ready to hop on into a draft. The lobby was taking a little while, and look at this. We already have one getting started off. So Io banned out as well as the OD, Chen, and the Vengeful Spirit into a first pick. Invoker, Bane, Sand King, and the Dazzle. I mentioned last time that I thought that Sand King was going to be the dumpster hero. I take everything back. It was a completely terrible prediction. Sand King is strong.
Well, we'll have to see how it pans out here, man.
Absolutely.
So I'm liking a lot of this, both sides knocking out a lot of those early pushes, but then Navi with the Sven ban out. What's going on there?
Well, Sven actually deserves a lot of respect here. We're looking at just the stats alone for Team Spirit. We do have a 2-1 record for Ramses. He's been able to play some really good Sven recently, and is probably one of his top core pickups in the carry role. The other thing would be the Invoker, which has slipped through. Picked up for Iceberg there. He's 3-2, obviously including some pre-nerf action there in 6.86. So excited to see what Iceberg can do with the hero, but maybe won't be able to see a Sven until the next round.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things about this is that when you think about Sven as a hero, he brings the ability to have that push happen. You can, go on in there, war cry up all of your creeps. You're going to be able to get that bonus armor going to everybody. And with a Dazzle already there, you've got to be very, very careful. But they're going to go for the Lycan, so just running right on at them. The changes to this hero in the way that now Necronomicons can crit, you've got your wolves eating people that much more quickly. This hero, to me, feels like he can be incredibly strong. Either of you have a strong opinion on the hero?
Oh yeah, I love it here. I think there's a lot of... Also, it's the Invoker, right? You've got a bit of team fight. You've certainly got the push there, and if you want to push early, Dazzle plus Lycan, excellent for it, or the Lycan can just run off to some other lane, go do it while your team's fighting.
5 seconds remaining.
Absolutely. And I think that the other thing is that, one of the ways that we saw this get picked up sometimes was that Invoker ends up going for the Necronomicon himself, and then you get damage all across the board from all of your other heroes. So maybe looking for another Necrobook picker. I think that I've seen another team, I want to say it was Vega, run this same strat with Lycan Invoker, and then they threw a Bane in there, who ended up getting the Necronomicon. But him already being taken out of the pool, obviously that's not going to be the case this time around. We are going to see the Gyrocopter banned, so not this time. As well as the Puck picked up for Navi. So Dendy Puck.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see that in action. The
10
illusory orb is a
seconds
lot more
remaining.
cost efficient in terms of its counter push. You're going to be able to clear
Navi's
things
turn
out.
to pick.
I feel like Team Spirit, since the Lycan pick in particular, have a very projected draft. It's very obvious what's going to be happening here, and I think that that means that Navi just have to look for their counter push. They have to look to delay the game. Maybe even look at a Keeper of the Light. If they go like Axmo, Sanking in the off lane, they can still fit a Coddle really well with the Nightmare Illuminate, and that would have been really strong for clearing out all the summons. But in this case, instead, we're going to be seeing the Spirit Breaker come into play, one that Navi has been picking more and more, and creates their playstyle, which is diving and finding kill opportunities and making it so that Team Spirit really
10
don't get the
seconds
opportunity to
remaining.
rally themselves.
It's also really great against the Invoker and Nature's Prophet when you've got those slippery
5
heroes who can get
seconds
around the map
remaining.
and you need to know where they are, whether they're ghost walked or TPing around. Having a Spirit Breaker who can light them up so your
Reserve
Puck or
time.
SK can blink in always seems good. But yeah, I completely agree. They have normally you're a bit worried about like only having magical wave clear because a team might pick up a Helm of the Dominator, but I don't see an easy way for Team Spirit to get one of those to get some magical cloak creep. So I think the magic wave clear from Navi will work here. They just have to, not get ratted.
Yeah, pretty much, and just keeping an eye on it. It does kind of feel like, though, that this could be one of those games where if you just end up losing one team fight, all of a sudden your entire base is gone so quickly, just because of how quickly all of these heroes push. And it's just something that you need to be careful about. And as I mentioned, Nature's Prophet, another Necro book picker, if that is something that they want to go. And with all of those creeps hitting and critting that much more effectively, you can really, if you're not careful about getting out of the way of it, obviously Puck is a really slippery hero and hard to nail down, but a couple of hits there and that Puck is going to explode.
Enough Necros on the board, and actually any AoE damage dealer is going to be a little bit
10
worried. I mean,
seconds
Sand King
remaining.
countered out by level 3 Necro in terms of the Invis, but even more so, you try to go for an
5
Epicenter
seconds
initiation,
remaining.
you pop 2 Necros at the same time, and suddenly you're down to like double digits HP. It's pretty brutal.
Spirit
Navi's
going down to
turn
the
to
wire.
bat.
They ban out Ursa with the last second of their reserve time. Almost got close to not being able to pick up a last ban there, and maybe you're feeling a little bit of the pressure with a lot of answers already coming up for what they might be throwing at them. As far as a
10
last pick
seconds
here,
remaining.
as we see also as well the
Dire
odds
team
going into
pick.
this, which have changed over a little bit in the past couple of minutes. Shadow Shaman is going to be banned out. That seems to make sense.
Yeah.
Oh God.
This works too, though, if you want to
Navi's
push
turn
early.
to pick.
Curse of Avernus on towers actually fantastic for that. So yeah, still there.
And the Lycan's going to be very ambitious now. Getting an Aphotic Shield on top with Shapeshift active, like, sure, the Dream Coil can cause some small issues. Maybe the Bane can outmaneuver him, but for the most part, he's going to be extremely confident going in as long as Abaddon is relatively close at hand. Just the heals and shields he can throw and now I make
10
things
seconds
very difficult for
remaining.
Navi in terms of getting a kill early in the fights.
5
Good
seconds
against the Spirit
remaining.
Breaker and all, of course, just all the general disables we're seeing from Navi. And now looking at this
Reserve
Dit Your
time.
Raw last pick, like there's not a really clear hero that will solve all their problems. The Ember Spirit got banned out earlier. Sven's been taken out, so AoE Cleave is not going to be as much of an option. Even the Gyrocopter
No.
would have been a good pick if they had that available.
Yeah, that's the one that I was thinking is the Gyrocopter just seems so strong here if they were able to get it. But Team Spirit, knowing what they were doing going into it, I am a little bit perplexed by the Ursa pick, or ban rather. It doesn't really feel like it would be something that necessarily helps them a ton. God, I don't even know. It's so tough. Like, part of me wants to say something big like a PL, but even that's just going to get torn apart. Like, Team Spirit does have a pretty well executed draft, as you mentioned, running in there with the Lycan with the shield on top of them, and then Invokers there to back them up by throwing out tornadoes if there's chase coming after you, and you've got Dazzle there as well to throw out the grave. There's not a whole lot of weaknesses in their draft besides just straight up being able to get controlled in team fights, and I feel like maybe that's what Navi needs to double down on, a little bit of more control with some damage and the potential for wave clear. Do you think you go for like a Radiance hero here? Is that something potentially?
I'm still thinking Juggernaut with a Battle
10
Fury,
seconds
but
remaining.
I mean, you could go a different route, something along those lines. It takes a little bit longer to come
5
online, though.
seconds
Yeah.
remaining.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say Juggle Luna would both work because then you can get rid of the creeps and then pop your ult. But AM's gonna be what they go for. I guess it makes sense with a couple of the big int bomb heroes. But it is not fun if this Invoker gets ahead. If he gets the Orchid with really good timing, your life just sucks. There's
Yeah.
no way around it.
Well, and the other thing is, I mean, honestly, how good is that Yule's combo if he wanted to go Quas Exort? Is there any way at all that we see that coming out from Team Spirit, or do you think that it's just going to be that straight up Quas Wex that everybody's been playing?
Quaswex is a lot more common, but I would say the optimal build here would actually be looking more towards the Forge Spirits. It just fits into the lineup they're looking for. They don't have to worry about an Echo Slam or an overwhelming odds, so just the more creeps the better until AM hits that Battle Fury timing. And the Forge Spirits are generally going to be at their utmost prior to that time period.
Well, awesome. Well, here we go. We're going to hop right on into this as soon as we get the last player on into the game. Come on now. I believe in you. You can do it. And no, apparently he can't. He's getting on into it. Don't worry. Game is paused, but there's a couple of mouse problems. No worry at all. Team Spirit facing off against Na'Vi. I believe that this is their first game, the first game of Europe in total. Do you guys have any predictions so far as who you think's going to take it based off draft alone?
1-1. I think it'll go 1-1 the whole series. Just boldly going out there.
I mean, I actually do like Spirit's draft overall. Like, I feel like Navi could have gone a little bit harder on the counter push, and it would have been a clearer win. The Anti-Mage definitely has the potential to carry this game on his shoulders, but it's not a guarantee. He's going to be vulnerable to physical damage of the Lycan at all stages, and that death push is going to be harsh if maybe Axmo has a bad laning phase.
And a little bit of stinky strats coming in right at the start as the Sunstrike comes in and lays out a little bit of devastation on the Navi side. Not really devastation; they just tickle them a little bit, but it's nice to show that they're not afraid to give it to him right from the start. So boots first on Sand King.
Yeah, pretty standard. He's going to try to get work done. For me, the problem, or the thing I worry about for Navi's lineup is Spirit's picked really defensive supports. So if anybody, you start going on the Invoker, you're immediately going to get a Dazzle TPM with a Shallow Grave or a Batten to come into a Flying Shield.
Whoa, do you see that?
No, I don't.
Iron Talon on Abaddon.
Okay.
Huh.
I think he's just going to hit the new hard camp that's over by the Ancients and just pretty much build off of that. He'll be close enough to the Furion to help him out with shields, but otherwise he's just going to kind of use that active whenever he can to find a unique and independent source of farm.
New strats coming out, people. Nice little catch there. Probably wouldn't have seen it there if you didn't mention it. It's just one of those things that you don't often expect to see, but as we've been talking about throughout the cast, new patch, new strats, and it looks like they're coming to contest this as people are getting ready to start talking in-game. Absolutely wonderful, but it looks like they're going to be able to secure this rune here for Mr. Iceberg Dota himself. Meanwhile, Dendy's going to be getting the bottom one. Dendy Puck, I am super excited for this one. I feel like this could... I mean, it's a classic, right?
Definitely. He's had so many great games on the hero, and it's just, I mean, even since TI1, has really created new opportunities for the team. Syncs up pretty well with the Sand King, maybe with the AM multi. But yeah, we'll have to see if it's kind of teaching an old dog new tricks, if he's going to be able to dust off some old skills.
He just has to make enough space. I think a lot of this boils down to getting key pickoffs so that Spirit can't push so easily, like kill the Nature's Prophet every now and again, so the push is delayed till Anti-Mage gets big, and Puck is certainly a hero who can do that, but we'll see how he handles this Exort first. Invoke.
He should have a pretty good, I mean, already 4-0. I'm a little bit surprised by that. I would have expected
This could be good.
more CS coming on in for the Burrow Strike. Is going to be able to hit it the first time. Maybe a couple more right clicks. Is it going to be enough? Jaunting away. Fairy Fires abound. The right clicks is going to get there with the phase shift. Very well played.
And very smart from Snako. The Invoke was actually the call to action there. They saw the Wex Orb come out. He pops Invoke on Alacrity. That means there's no way you're cold snapping, no way you're responding to that situation in a defensive capacity. So as long as you get the Burrow Strike, you get the kill, Fairy Fire or not.
Yeah, and we've been seeing that a lot. The Fairy Fire's picked up trying to mitigate the ganks like that, but just not working out. So Seneko can do what he does best, just get ganks on every lane. I think they'll be in a great place come mid-game. So.
Yeah, roaming around. Gonna try and catch an eye on some of the people here. I mean, Axmo's up there. He doesn't really feel like... I mean, that lane seems like it's going to be really hard to find a kill, honestly. Do you think that you just sort of rotate back into the Invoker lane, or where's the weakness in the draft right now for Team Spirit where we're going to see Snako go?
Oh, it looks like he is headed... Oh, he's camping the rune from the looks of things. see whether he gets something that'll help him kill.
Illusion, probably the worst in that capacity.
Yeah,
but
not the best. He can harass a little bit. Yeah, he's done the 2-1 split, maybe trying to act like he's not there, but they're onto it. They're sending someone else over on mid. Abaddon gonna come help out. And I really want to see more of this Abaddon to see kind of what, is he just doing the hard camp or what? Because I'm really interested to see how that Iron Talon goes.
just been using the active a bit here. Can't see his early CS there, but it seems that he's at least gotten something by himself, and he's able to still stay relevant. If he keeps a TP scroll, I think it's the big deal. TP shield is gonna save the day 9 times out of 10, and I think that there's some real good potential with that.
Try it in your pubs, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're really saying here. Didier Ra currently sitting top of the CS, 17-3, and as I say that, Lycan takes like over 17-13. That's going to be
nice
the bash. Oh, good grave coming off though is going to be able to keep him alive for the moment. Can they find a kill? Body blocks abound. Fairy Fire keeping him alive. Not going to be able to get it though, and they cancel out the charge.
Yeah, so really nice play there, and hopefully this will allow them to pressure Lycan's lane a little bit more. The anti-mage, while he is CSing decently, I believe he's down to pretty low on the regen because he's been using a lot of that. He's getting mightily harassed by the Nature's Prophet.
Snake's just going to snowball here. He's already got his Tranquil Boots. He's going to go Tranquil Soul Ring, unlimited Burrow Strikes all across the map. This is not a jungle build. This isn't farm intensive. This is all about creating pressure early on, and so far he's accomplished exactly what he needs to, and he's just going to build momentum off of that. We're going to see in mid, there's going to make the jump. There's going to be a Sentry Ward, which means that should be, oh, the Dazzle coming in with no Grave off cooldown.
Ooh. Well, showing them how it's done. Thought you were the CIS team. Not going to be able to take out the old dogs as they prove why it is that they were so heavily favored. Making it look really good. Honestly, Snakeo's just playing the Sand King beautifully and is going to be able to come on in and snake that one on away as well. Taking the DD rune. He's going to be able to get sprouted on up though. Maybe in a little bit of trouble. He doesn't have any mana. Just the passive regen. Bane is here also. Can they find any way to keep him alive? Trying to run out of there. Nature's Prophet. Oh, they're going to be able to shaunt. That's going to be a kill though as they finish him off with the Illusory Orb. And it looks like in the meantime, Sand King juking away is going to be fine. Committing the coil. Oh, is he going to go down though? He does eventually fall, but it's going to come at the cost of his own life. And meanwhile, the Dazzle actually is going to probably be able to keep him alive. Do we have anything else? No more mana. The hell is going on in this game?
Yeah, but that's Spirit finally getting themselves on the board, and while they did spend a lot of time, it's not so great because they've had to leave Lycan alone up top, although it looks like nothing too much. Oh, we have a meteor drop? What's going on? Puck's going to be able to get out of that one a little bit, but ends up taking the rest of the damage. Tried to miss some of it. That's a nice TP in rotation from Afterlife, who's gonna... Okay, they cancel the charge.
It was a little bit scary there. Like I think that there was a moment where Puck thought that he could have, but coming back from the gank that happened over to the side, he was already so low on mana that if he was probably full mana there, I don't think that he gets killed. But regardless, we've talked about it. I guess it looks like right now the off lane for Na'Vi hasn't been going the best in the world, but Spearbreaker has been able to rotate and make stuff happen despite the fact that he hasn't been in lane. Do you think that this lanes have been a little bit more favored towards Na'Vi, despite the fact that, or even though they're not really completely and totally dominating in CS?
Yeah, I mean, the Sand King's kicking ass. He obviously fed a little bit there, not needing to go toe-to-toe with the Abaddon, but overall, I think Na'Vi are happy with their early activities. Sure, the Lycan gets some face time with the tower, but at the same time, Ditya Raw gets free farm on his anti-mage.
Oh,
they will...
Yeah, be another stun coming out. Don't know if they had the damage with the Aphotic Shield coming out to boot. Am might blink. Nope, he's not going to go for the blink under tower, but pretty close. I think they actually could have dived for that one.
I think it was possible. I would have loved to see it, just because I love to see people go crazy in these types of games, and I would have gone for it, which probably means that it's not a good idea. I'm a terrible Dota 2 player, but regardless, coming back here under tower again, they're going to be able to get the stun out. 3 heroes in the area, getting away with the sandstorm, and it looks like the tower is going to fall. This is the danger. You start grouping together, you get all this damage coming out. It's Lycan can take towers in a quickness if you're not careful.
Almost getting the deny. He should be able to just charge out of that one, yeah, so he'll be fine. But yeah, as you said, they're probably, as long as they don't put them, like, overextend a little bit, Team Spirit should be able to take all of the tier 1s pretty quickly, and obviously taking that mid and that bottom tier 1 open up jungle ganks, which I'm not sure how they do it best. The Invoker needs to be doing a bit better than he is, I think, for that to be possible.
I'd love to see what the levels are and a couple of net worthy things, but I guess we talked about the anti-mage just being able to sort of carry this game, and maybe the puck being able to make enough space for him to do that. Do you think those goals are being sort of completed here for Na'Vi, or are Team Spirit going to be able to get enough to start really snowballing with the towers they're taking?
I mean, so far so good with the Leica momentum up on the top lane. He's going to look towards Roshan in the next 5 or 6 minutes, and that's going to be kind of the point of contention for Na'Vi. Can they actually get in that pit and do something about it? Because early on, Leica and Fury and those heroes are amazing at going into the pit and taking that early Aegis, which is a huge chunk of gold and experience. Yeah, no blink on Sand King for a while means it's going to be a very difficult point of contention.
Little phase shift there to get away from the one little right click from the Alacrity Invoker, and testing Iceberg a little bit here, and he's gonna jaunt on over, try and pick on up the 8-minute runes, see if it's something good, and it's just gonna be a little bit of a bounty. Hopefully gonna be able to build him way into his early blink, still just the constant be-all end-all for Mr. Puck.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, like, you jump to Fury and just get a quick Waning Rift on him. You definitely have a kill potential. Dazzle as well. I do want to highlight real quick, though, if you look at the net worth, that Bane is actually below starting gold. Like, this guy bought 2 sentries and 2 observers and the Animal Courier all at the beginning, so Sand King could have all that and his boots, and it's awkward. It really is for this Bane.
The other thing, though, is, so we hadn't mentioned, we haven't seen too much. The Abaddon's, like, doing really well. Just look at his net worth compared to, he hasn't had as much kill involvement as the SK. The Iron Talon is apparently doing work, which I know a lot of people have opinions on how good or bad that item is in the professional scene, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell from our perspective. We're watching on a alternative camera, but I know that the Abaddon had about 7 CS, like 4 or 5 minutes in, which is a lot more than you normally get just because he's not taking anything from the lane itself. So he is finding some jungle, he is finding a little bit of net worth, and we'll just have to see what he actually turns that into.
Yeah, Dendy's really close to his blinks, and Echo's still quite a way off, but he should still be able to have some impact. Already having those Tranquils and the Soul Ring just means those team fights are going to go, well, if somebody tries to dive, they've got ways to counter it, but things calming down, and obviously I think the Lycan can have a bit more early game impact than the AM, so we'll see how that, yep, but here's the Roche that you talked about.
And this to me feels like it's one of those moments in the game where how these next couple of minutes play out, if Team Spirit are able to make the most of this, if they're able to still really start applying the pressure, it could start snowballing from here and get a little bit ugly, although of course this all can come back the other way. They are going to be able to pick on up Roshan, toss on over to Mr. Invoker, who again hasn't had the best start in the world, but also not the worst. I mean, he's sitting at about 4k net worth, and the big thing also is that Anti-Mage doesn't have his Battle Fury yet. He's only about 1,600 gold away from finishing off, so if he can get that and start pushing out other lanes as the death push comes a little bit more, I think that they're going to be okay here.
I feel like the Invoker's doing a great job of catching up. It just feels very slow, like neither team really wants to blink. I think Na'Vi understand they can lose a couple tier 1s to delay the game, because the AM is really going to blow up both the Nature's Prophet and the Invoker. So I think they're saying we're fine trading as long as we make sure we get that Battle Fury up and not risk his life.
Oh my goodness. Million and 10 sounds coming on right now, as it looks like they're going to be trying to take a tower of their own. Tier 1 coming on in, Didier Ra continuing to CS abound and not wanting to take a fight, that's for damn sure, but they're going to be starting to pressure this tier 2, and this is where you start to have to think about defending. Is this a point where you actually come back and try and mount a real defensive here?
Apparently, yes.
We are getting a TP back here. It's just going to be the Puck doing a little bit of counter push. I don't see any other heroes mobilizing. They've taken the mid, thanks to what I would call a poor glyph usage by the Dire earlier, but now that that's down, it's tier 1 for a tier 1 and a tier 2. And Dendy's just trying to delay the push because he knows that they're going to the high ground, and just a Burrow Strike's not going to cut it.
And Curse of Avernus here, that's what we were talking about. With all these units and Curse of Avernus, this is your towers melt. They're going to end up burrow striking in using that sandstorm, but they drop a sentry under tower, so Neko has to be pretty careful here. Let's see if Bane can do anything to delay it. Nightmares up the Lycan. There's going to be a nice meteor as well. Good day to you, Bane. The charge on through, though, and a Dream Coil. Was that on 5? With a stun following up from Seneko. Can they get anything else out? A nice Nether Strike holding Lycan in place, but he also has the Shallow Grave, so he's just going to continue smacking away at the tower. They don't care too much about that beautiful Wombo combo, and finally Iceberg maybe thinking of retreating. But I think, yeah, they're just bringing in more trees. They did not repel this push at all.
Yeah, they're going back in a second time through. I mean, you can sandstorm all that you want, but all the AoE damage that's coming out, there's going to be the jump back. They got to be so freaking careful right now. Honestly, it's only 4-3, 12 minutes in, and they're about to take a Rax. Yeah, they honestly don't care at all. Didier Ra does not have his Battle Fury yet. He doesn't have any ability to clear these waves on out. And I'm starting to wonder now, all right, there's going to be the jump forward. They do end up getting the stun, but the huge deafening blast coming in, that's going to be a dead Sand King. What is this push? Are you kidding me? Team Spirit, with no regard for the timer or the kill score or anything, they take a 12-minute Rax. That is life.
This is what we saw them doing when, I feel like maybe 2 weeks ago, Team Spirit was on 17-game win streak, was it, or something? And they just deathballed over and over, albeit I think they used they had many different heroes in it, but they just did it again, and we can see it's just magic. AoE doesn't seem to be working against it. There's no physical AoE up yet. What do you do?
It's just insufficient. I mean, the Spirit Breaker hasn't really done anything this game. Yeah, they only have like one hero that can stun him out of charge, but he just really hasn't been able to contribute in a real way. I'm sure the Abaddon would have TP responded if he did. Now looking at him on the defensive with these high ground pushes coming in, he just sits there and watches. Like, it's really brutal. They needed to find more opportunities to pursue kills. I like Seneco's movement, but I haven't seen much from Axmo, and it just feels like the Spirit Breaker plus the Anti-Mage, those two last picks, when they knew this Death Ball was coming, has put them at a disadvantage. Game's not over yet, just one lane of Rax, but it is not looking good for Na'Vi.
Well, and it translated to a 7,500 gold lead also. So they're coming back at him now with the second set of items where you've got more sustain coming out. You've got the Urn. You've got level 8 on Abaddon. That's the other thing that I was going to mention is that as we do see another little illusory, I'm trying to slow it down as much as possible. Right now, Sand King is level 8 in his own right, but just now picking up Epicenter. He needed that for that last initiation because they just didn't have enough wave push. And now I think they probably can defend, but again, it's going to be 4-on-5 because Anti-Mage doesn't bring anything to this draft right now. Nice burrow strike on a Ramses, but this is not looking like they have any answers.
There, and yeah, the Spirit Breaker's across the map, seeing what he can do up top lane to get levels. If they're giving up, it looks like they're just going to give up more and more until they can actually find an engagement they want, but I don't know if Navi's finding that this game. It's going to be the burrow strike away, and another tower that just melts. I mean, you've got... It's Curse of Avernus, you've also got Alacrity buffing people up, you've got all the different creeps, and then there's auras coming out of the Lycan right now. It's a bit disgusting. I like it. I like it a lot.
But
there's the Battle Fury.
Couple cool plays coming out from, we do see Seneko burning through a lot of sentry wards. Every time he makes a sandstorm play, he backs off as soon as the sentry's dropped. That's money out of Spirit's pocket. They've got a lot to spare, but it's something. Along with that, he's just picked up his Blink Dagger. If they are going to mount a defense, that's what they need to make it happen.
Absolutely, and I think that really they have to wait for high ground. They can't try and defend these other tier 1 or tier 2 towers. Ooh, catches there. Is going to be able to take on out the Nature's Prophet, I believe. Does he commit? He does actually commit the Dream Coil. Oh, you would have loved to be able to hang on to that one. And I wonder if that's going to be sort of, oh god, they're going to be able to cold snap him up. The saddest Spirit Breaker in the world is just going to get run on down there. This, with no Dream Coil, seems to me like they're going to be able to take a tier 2 tower no problem. And maybe think about going high ground?
Yeah, I'm not sure they have the high ground with the cooldowns there, but as you said, it's tier 2, and they could wait.
Oh, Epi!
Oh, okay, we're going to see him blink in. There's also the silence coming out. They've got the stun, a lot of damage, so at least someone goes down. The Aphotic Shield saving Invoker's life, but they managed to at least get something. They lose the AM, though, and now Bane being run down. Here comes Nature's Prophet. He's going to clean up those scragglers if he finds any. He'll just push out that tower, and what we thought was maybe going to be an epi, it's just not enough yet because of the item lead. And I think they're also, I'd love to see the experience grow off, because often the team that groups up suffers a little bit, but I think because they're winning these fights as well, that they're ahead.
I can't believe that they got like the perfect initiation right there. And it just harkens back to maybe this anti-mage pick not being able to come online quick enough, and thinking that they were pushing for the later stages of the game and going for more of a split push, and that anti-mage would have a couple of items to be able to repel it. But instead, Spirit just went straight for the jugular. And I mean, it's not even 20 minutes yet, and we're looking like we might be seeing, you know, a sub 20-minute GG at 12-minute racks. I mean, that's hard to come back from.
It really is. And right now, the way back would be to get kills. To you take that comeback gold and put it in your own pocket. But up against a Mechanism Abaddon, up against a Dazzle with Grave, like, you're not finding those kills even with a really good Epicenter. You just don't have the damage. All the damage is on the side of Spirit, none of it on Na'Vi, and they are at the midnight hour right here.
Absolutely. They do end up getting out a nice little burrow strike there. But as you mentioned, just so much sustain and able to do whatever they want.
Oh, and they're gonna drop the meteor. Let's see if they can get any follow-up kills. They don't even need to. They can just focus on the Rax here, but instead they're working away on Akmo. There's gonna be a stun, but it doesn't matter. The Rax is going down. This is gonna be lane number 2, Sandstorm. Nobody cares about that. They're just poking away. They'll go top. I don't see a great way that Na'Vi can come back into this one with the heroes they picked.
Give do.
Do, exactly. Team Spirit is at full health right now.
Wait, he got silenced up! Oh no, goodbye Seneko, it's been nice knowing you. He can't be so cute there, and now AM's trying to fight up against the Necronomicons. It's just not working. Bane's going down. There's a heal bomb to boot.
Sand King disconnected. Sad life. I think that...
GG's probably been called actually, because I think we turned off chat.
Yeah, that's what it is. So don't worry, there was not any bad-mannered stuff right there. I'm not sure if all the music dropped out for you, but my god, after just 17 kills and the game is over, that was ridiculous.
I think we've seen this before from Spirit though, and you kind of mentioned it in the draft, maybe a Jug, just they needed a carry that came online that had wave clear a lot earlier, albeit that's kind of just gyro right now, yeah. But they needed something else, and it wasn't the AM.
Yeah, you can't always be packing that gyrocopter, but I really do feel if we revisit the draft and we look at that critical timing when they knew what Team Spirit were going for, they saw the Lycan along with the Invoker Dazzle. They're like, this is going to be a hard push lineup. The Nature's Prophet followed right suit. If you go ahead and you shift your mentality, you say, yeah, we really want a Seneko Sand King, but let's put Axmo there. Sand King can still offlane effectively, and you can get a Keeper of the Light there. Keeper of the Light Bane, a Juggernaut or something else. You have your defense. You have some way to respond to this. The way they drafted with the Spirit Breaker, the Anti-Mage, the best way I can say is it was very ambitious.
Definitely, and hoping to be able to come online quickly enough to make it worth it. And I mean, to be honest, we talked about it. The Sand King, he was making a lot of stuff happen in the early game. He was able to get those kills that he needed, and it wasn't quite enough because they needed that, as you were saying, either in the off lane or possibly, you know, thinking about another hero in general. I also wonder, I mean, is it ever worth it to ban out the tree or the Nature's Prophet there? Like, is that the piece that works, or what is it really that you feel like is the most
two bans they
important
went with were Broodmother and Sven. We talked about the Sven being just a nice pickup for both Ditya Ra and, more importantly, for Ramses in their more recent games. Just very effective, win rate potential. And while we obviously saw a push game, we know that Team Spirit is just as capable of going for a fighting game, going for kills, and going for team fight, and the Sven works for them. So they were afraid of the Sven, they banned it out, and then the Broodmother comes next just because, you know, Nature's Prophet or Broodmother, take your pick. It's not fun.
Well, I guess the thing I'm wondering about was what was the most effective part of that draft then? Was it just the whole team cohesion? Was it the Lycan part of it? Do you ban out the Lycan next time?
I don't think the Lycan's is impactful. I think part of it comes down to the Abaddon and the Invoker. You've got this trouble where they managed to get the Abaddon really late, and it actually did a lot of work there. It completely makes the Bane useless, and we didn't even get to see it that much because the Bane took so long to get online. Yeah. But also the Abaddon, they tried to kill this hero a few times, but having Dazzle and Abaddon means that while Seneko had great early impact, once the Dazzle got... I mean, we saw the TP in where he didn't have Shallow Grave on cooldown. Right. Once he got, like, level 3, it was fine. No, people were no longer dying. You just limit your effectiveness, and especially picking, as you said, a Spirit Breaker into... That's an aggressive hero. Picking it into your opponent having 2 very defensive supports doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, so...
Well, we're just waiting for a second to get back into the Game 2 lobby. Occasionally these things do take a while, so we might just hop over into a quick break while we wait for the lobby to get set up, because it took a little while to get the first one.
Did we want to check on the other game, or did we want to...
Yeah, are there any of the other Southeast Asian games that are close to over?
is Mama's Boy playing right now versus Empire, I believe. Because
Mr.
I think
Roland,
that's
I
the
believe
other.
in you.
Yeah. So we'll.
Okay,
Okay.
we're
Okay.
he's letting us know we're gonna take a quick break and then we're gonna come back in a second. But thank you guys again for watching. We'll be back in just a few with game 2 of Spirit facing off against Navi. See you guys in a second.